The Mystery of the Deeper Christlife by Dr. Stephen Kühn. Chapter 1, Part 2 of 5. If Jesus had said something like that, it would certainly legitimize much of what we observe all around us today in the so-called Christian religion. The Christian religion that has formed around the teaching of Christianity is involved with the propagation of various understandings of Jesus' teaching as determined by various interpretations of the Bible. Most of those who call themselves Christians today seem to think that Jesus advocated the same thing that Buddha is alleged to have uttered. Don't focus on me, just remember my teaching. Jesus did not say anything like that. In fact, what Buddha said is contrary to everything Jesus taught and everything recorded in the New Testament scriptures. Jesus did not say, just remember my teaching. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life in John 11, verse 25. I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. He did not say, I will show you the way, I will teach you the truth, I will give you the life. His own indwelling presence is the only way for man to be man as God intended. Another story is told of Sadhu Sundar Singh, a convert from the religion of Sikhism to Christianity, who eventually became one of India's most well-known Christians. A professor of comparative religions from Europe, who was himself an agnostic, interviewed Sadhu one day with the evident intention of showing him his mistake in renouncing another religion for what he perceived to be the Christian religion. The professor asked Mr. Singh, "What have you found in the Christian religion that you did not have in your old religion?" Sundar Singh answered, "I have Jesus." "Yes, I know," the professor replied somewhat impatiently. "But what particular principles or doctrines have you found that you did not have before?" Sundar Singh replied, "The particular person I have found is Jesus." Try as he might, the professor could not budge him from that position. He went away discomfited but thoughtful. Sundar Singh was right. The religions of the world have some fine teachings, but they lack the person and life of Jesus Christ, the dynamic presence of God in man. Paul's epistles bear the repetitive theme of explaining the difference between religion and Christianity. In his epistle to the Romans, Paul explains that righteousness is not in religious rites or the law, but in Jesus Christ, the righteous one. In the epistle we know as 1 Corinthians, Paul counters the religious excesses that were developing in the young church at Corinth. In the epistle we identify as 2 Corinthians, Paul carefully differentiates between gospel ministry by the grace of God and the manipulations of religious method being evidenced by the intrusive pretenders. Writing to the Galatians, Paul pits the gospel versus religion, forcefully denying that there is another gospel as inculcated by legalistic religion. In contrast to religious exclusivism, Paul explains to the Ephesians that all men become a new humanity in Jesus Christ. Combating the effects of the regional religionism of Asia, Paul wrote to the Colossians emphasizing the preeminence of Jesus Christ, who is our life. A theme of Christianity, as distinct from and confronting religion, is visibly distinguished in Paul's gospel.